Audio Jungle.
7, 6, 5, 4,
Audio
3,
Jungle.
2, 1, 0.
I'm a snowmaker in Ontario, Canada, and work the overnight shift, 8 to 8. This just happened to me on tonight's shift, and I'm still shaking. When we're making snow, we basically start up the snow guns and leave them unattended for hours on end to go take naps. So tonight, it's just me with my supervisor, and we were done setting up. We decided to start a little campfire and take a nap next to it. After about 3 hours of talking, my boss leaves the campfire and heads to his normal sleep spot, which is about a 5-minute ride from where we were. I decided to stay at the fire because it was cozy and I didn't really feel like taking a nap. Well, after about 45 minutes, I doze off and slump into my chair. It's about 3 a.m. at that point. I wake up to a smoldering fire and can't believe I fell asleep. I stand up, stretch a spin around to head back to the staff room for lunch, and my heart sinks. Behind my chair, there was very, very clear footprints. They were less than a foot away from my chair. I start looking around because I'm scared as hell. My back was to the forest and the footprints were coming from there. I frantically call my supervisor on the radio and tell him what's going on. When he was on his way, I realized that maybe he's messing with me, but when he arrived, I saw the look on his face. I knew he did not make those footprints. The boot prints were much larger than all my supervisors too. We followed the prints, which led pretty far back into the bush and then back to a sidewalk. It's 4:45 in the morning, so there's no way anyone is out. The tracks are basically a loop. They came from the forest and went back right into the same spot. I don't think I'm ever going to work the night shift again. Story number 2. When I went to college, I separated from all my close friends. I will meet them at a bar during weekends, and it was lit. I will say, however, I'm tall and in pretty good shape, so some girls find me attractive. This night made me stop partying and to watch my drinking condition closer. I was called by one of my friends named Mike. He said that they were going to have a party, that if I wanted to join, and I decided to go. I live in the dorm, so I have a roommate who I'm close to, but every weekend he leaves to see his family, so I really never see him unless he's sick on the weekend. Once I came to the party, I drank a few beers, did some shots, but after all, I was having a pretty good time. I met this one chick named Anna. She was really attractive, she had hazel eyes and also blonde hair, and she was the same age as me, 20. We talked for hours until I felt dizzy, and I decided it was time to go. And I left. I was picked up by an Uber, but before getting in the car, I can see Anna getting in her car. I thought she was heading home, and I was correct. I came to my dorm and didn't see my roommate, so in my head I thought he left. I decided to go to bed with my clothes on. It was 1:45 before I went to bed. I woke up to a breeze in my room. It was freezing inside. I went out of my room and saw that my dorm door was open. I checked outside and didn't see no one except the light that is on the hall. I closed the door, thinking maybe my roommate had returned home, but there was no answer. Confused, I checked all around his room and he wasn't there. I was drunk when I entered the room, so I thought maybe I had just accidentally left it open when I returned. I checked the time and saw that it was around 2:10 in the morning. That's when I heard it. I paused when I heard the breathing of a man. The room wasn't that dark since I have a nightlight for getting water in the evening. The sound was coming from where my roommate slept. I went in and I turned on the light and I saw Anna and a guy who was around 200 pounds and taller than me. I screamed as loud as I could and alerted the security guard as I was running away. The police were called and they were both arrested. It turns out that Anna left the exact same time, but what the scary part is that she followed me, and when I went into my dorm, I forgot to lock my door, so the 200-pound guy came in with Anna to rob everything, or that's what I'm hoping for. I can't believe the luck that I had with this. Story number 3. I grew up in a rural area dominated by cornfields and old farmhouses. My friend Richard worked on his family's dairy farm since he was a young kid, so we spent a fair amount of time following him around the farm during the summertime. His grandparents lived in the original farmhouse on the property, which was built sometime in the mid-1800s. It was a large brick house with 2 chimneys, and it was painted white. It was in fantastic shape, but it definitely felt old inside. Richard was feeding cows one evening, so we rode our bikes to go hang out on the job. We noticed a yellow glow coming from the attic and asked him what it was like up there. He looked up from the calves and squinted at the attic light before saying, "I'd never really been up there." He pulled out his flip phone and called his grandpa to tell him that he had left the light on in the attic. His grandpa told him that nobody had gone in the attic today. Old people forget stuff all the time, so we weren't all that weirded out by what his grandpa had said. When Richard was done working, we went into the house and into the attic. We turned off the light and we wanted to check out the attic. The door to the attic was small, maybe only 3 feet tall, and had a deadbolt keeping it closed tight. When we walked through the doors and up the narrow steps, we found ourselves in a huge space. The attic had extremely nice wooden floors, our 4 large windows, and was dimly lit by 3 exposed light bulbs across the ceiling. The lights were off, which was weird because they were on when we walked into the house, so Richard hit the switch at the top and the light bulbs lit up. That's when our confusion started. The lights were bright white, like fluorescent white, like the white that's almost blue. It definitely was not the light we saw come from the barn. We looked around and saw some old gas light fixtures that probably hadn't been touched in decades. Gas didn't even run the house anymore, and 2 of the 4 gas lamps were warm. Turns out the attic had been used as a suite in the 1800s. The eldest son lived there, and the plan was for him to take over the farm. You can literally see marks on the floor where his furniture used to be. The son apparently had hung himself in the attic, but we couldn't find proof of that anywhere.